Everybody's sitting around thinking about drinking from the whiskey barrel, and I'm thinking about how to turn the whiskey barrel into a sink.
There you go.
Welcome to Whiskey One. I'm Mrs. Whiskey One, or Camera Operator One. You all don't know me because I'm usually behind the scenes. I'm not a drinker, so I'm always thinking of different things to do with our whiskey projects. And today we're walking you through, from beginning to end, turning a whiskey barrel into a sink. Okay, Israel's outside. He's sanding the shelves. I'm gonna work on the barrel. Just remember, I have no idea what I'm doing, so do as the other YouTube whiskey barrel sink makers do and not as I do, because it's gonna be really, really interesting, and I think it'll be really, really fun. Okay, so what I did was I sanded the barrel, and I had to Brillo these rings because they were super rusty, and then I had to spray down the barrel again because the staves were so dry. It's really dry in the Southwest, so the staves were so dry that these rings just kept falling off no matter which way I was going, and I was afraid the barrel was gonna fall apart, so I had Israel soak the barrel again, so hopefully that helps get the wood swollen, and which might be counterproductive if I have to do this cleaning of these again because the water makes them rusty. I can do that, but what I am gonna do after that is stain the wood. We'll actually probably just polyurethane it because I really think this barrel is beautiful the way it is. If you can see that, it's gorgeous. It is so stunning. So I really like that. I even like the rust on the rings, and I would like to keep some of that because I think it has age and antiquity and character, so I really like that. I'm using this. It's actually drywall sandpaper, but it's super, super gritty, so I was using that in just a regular sander, and I did that prior to soaking down the barrel. I just want to show you the sander. Here it is, just old school regular sander. If you came here for a tutorial on how to make a barrel into a sink, I apologize profusely because I don't know what I'm doing. You'll probably see me catch tetanus before I get this project done, but so far I am going to finish oiling these rings, and then I think I'm gonna put some water in this bunghole right here.
Bungholio, bungholio, bungholio.
Right in this bunghole, right here, because it's really, really dry. I stuck my finger in there and I could feel all the wood. It's like crumbly. Oh, and you can see the char. See the char? Okay, I have her stained, and I have this wood polyurethane, and I have these rings coated in clear spray paint. Just FYI, if you are looking to clean the rings, I suggest using WD-40 and some Brillo, or I'll show you a video. Israel's cleaning the rings with this little fancy attachment, and it's getting these other rings that we got on a different barrel very clean and looking brand new. So my next step is to drill these rings into the wood, and then I have to flip it and do the bottom, what I did to the top to the bottom, because it just makes sense to keep it all together and the rings on the bottom while I did the top, and then I'll just flip it over to do the other side. Okay, so I apologize everyone. We got busy on the barrel and started just doing things. We found a groove, and documenting just became like super not priority. But what we did was fasten the rings to the board with these screws, and then I had to paint them because they did not match. They were super steel colored, chrome colored, and these are obviously rust colored. So what I did with that is I took spray paint and I just dabbed it on there with a paintbrush. I used a mix between brown and bronze to get them that color. So just for reference, we have a very small bathroom, and we had to cut the back of the barrel, so we measured to make sure we had enough room for the sink, enough room for the faucet, and we wanted to line up with the staves. So we cut the metal with a Dremel, and then here we are now. We cut the rings here with a Dremel, and we're cutting through the wood for the door to do the back. And then we did some reinforcement stuff on the back, so when we turn it over, I'll show you that. had to get started on the barrel by cutting a little with the Dremel to get the jigsaw in so we could cut the doors off. So it's been a bit of a process to get the door cut because it's like the staves are very, very thick. So let me just talk about what we did on the inside. So obviously we had to take part of the barrel off in the back, and that meant also sawing off the back of the top here. But a part of making this project successful was using this like moving strap or whatever the cinching strap is, because it held the barrel together at times when it probably would have fallen apart. So part of what keeps these barrels together is actually quite unique, because the staves, the wood swelling against the metal rings keeps those intact, and then the same for the top. It's all held together by the pressure. So taking that off and taking the rings off here, as you can see we cut them, that would have we would have lost the barrel several times if we hadn't had the strap. But now that we have reinforced it here with this wood, so these woods are held together with some clamps, and then they're also screwed into the barrel here, so that's keeping it nice and tight and keeping the shape and holding it in the back. And we have one of those for the bottom and for the top. So now that we have everything reinforced, we have the door cut, and as you can see, Israel screwed the metal rings on the inside as well as the outside for the door to hold its shape. So now that we have everything reinforced, I feel pretty confident that we can take this strap off now and it'll stay together.
Ready?
So it'll either fall apart or we did a good job.
Voila!
It looks cocoa proof. Okay, so this door is crazy heavy and the metal is just raw cut, so we're gonna grind it so that it's nice and smooth so nobody gets injured on it. Also, we're gonna put the hinges on, but again, it is super, super heavy, so we're gonna see if those hinges with that will hold. This is where we are going to put the sink, and so we're looking at it like from looking up at it, and you can see the reinforcement we did for the back. But what we're gonna do also is well, what we did was Gorilla Glue it so that the staves stay together, but that's not going to be enough. Well, I don't think it's going to be enough reinforcement because the sink is going to be heavy, the faucet is going to be heavy, and there's going to be like obviously water going through there, which will add more weight to it, plumbing, and then age and time. As much as I love Gorilla Glue, I don't think this is a long-term solution. It's just a reinforcement technique. To reinforce these little tiny pieces here, we put these metal L brackets because obviously there would have just been this little teeny piece of wood. There's like four of them actually, 4 little pieces of wood, and if we didn't put these L brackets, they would have just been floating there with the Gorilla Glue, which again is not enough to support it. And then to drill the hole, we made a pilot here and a pilot here, and obviously took the measurements of the sink, and then Israel drilled with the jigsaw around here, and then this is just 1 1/4 drill bit, and it's the drill bit went all the way through for the faucet. Okay, the light is not the best, but what we did to reinforce it was put this metal thing right across the top, so that way there is support and it's drilled into the top of the staves. This is the almost finished product, and Israel is putting in some anchor boards into the wall so we could just screw in when we get it ready. The whole idea behind this bathroom was to do a speakeasy design. We wanted to have the elements of the whiskey channel and turn this barrel into a sink. As you can see, we put the copper sink in there. What we're finishing today is going to add we're going to add a backsplash so that you don't see this rugged separation between the sink and the wall. So I've screwed this wooden board to the back to pull the eye away from this big gap, and I'm going to put the tiles right on top of this, so that's the next step. So I'm just laying the tile out to see what it's going to look like. My stepdad cut it for me, So that was pretty awesome. So when it's all said and done, it'll look like this. I still have to mix the mortar or whatever the stuff is, and then the last thing after setting the tile is we'll grout it. I have put the mortar or whatever you call that to fix the tiles. I've taped it off, and the last step here will be to grout the whole thing, and then it'll be done. Okay, and there it is. I apologize I couldn't get the grout and the mortar process on camera, but it is very messy. If you know how to stick tile and if you know how to grout, then this should be no problem if this is the style that you want to go with. And as you can see, we have this beautiful Four Roses barrel that is now our front bathroom sink. Let's talk about cost. When we decided to redo this bathroom, we were looking at sinks that you can buy. Between getting this barrel for $100 from our friends over at Santa Fe Spirits, who were using this, an old Four Roses barrel, for their distilling and whiskey aging process, to like about $120 of hardware in between the sink and the faucet and the pipes. This baby cost us a lot of elbow grease and a little over $200. So comparable to some of the things that we were looking at on the market just to buy, for the antiquity and the style, it's definitely been a labor of love, but for the cost and the uniqueness of it all, it's been more than worth it. So that's it. Thank you all. Bye.